it. So nonchalantly before the podcast, I kind of just wanted to think, as logically as I could, can I get the top 5 guys? Because you have IDP rankings, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to just kind of see, could I play IDP like without really knowing, having limited knowledge? Maybe I have to buy the IDP draft kit for this season. I don't know, maybe. But this is what I came up with. So my top 5 guys, and there might be a little bit of bias included in here. I had Aaron Donald, just signed that 2-year, $60 million
Yeah.
extension. Bobby Wagner,
Okay.
who he's not playing for Seattle anymore, right? I mean, he's a
Nope,
free
he's in the
agent, isn't he?
Rams.
No, he plays for the Rams.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that defense. Micah Parsons,
Yep.
Myles Garrett, and Max Crosby, because I just see him dominating for the Raiders all the time. But that's kind of what I came up to. And I don't know if you want to tell me your top 5, but you put it up here after I put mine up. That is the disclaimer, folks. So how close did I get? And let me see what you have.
Yeah. So, well, first, let me evaluate a little bit on your rankings here. I love,
Okay.
I love Aaron Donald. And if you play in a defensive tackle league where you have to start a DT, I would say that Aaron Donald is definitely going to be in your top 5. Like, that guy is a beast. He's a top in the edge rusher position in itself as well. As far as getting sacks, tackles, and all that stuff. Loving Bobby Wagner up there, Parsons, Garrett, those guys are great. Max Crosby is also he's. You say it's biased, but he is good too. So I might drop him down a little bit, but no, I like those that top 5 there. My top 5. Right at the top, TJ Watt. He is a beast as an edge or a linebacker play. Amazing sack potential every year. And then he gets a solid floor of tackles. So that's really what you're working with is for your players. You want tackles and you want those big plays, interceptions, sacks, and depending on your league, your sacks might stack to where you get a score for the sack, you get a score for a tackle for a loss, and then if you have QB hits and then that tackle, so that could be a 10 to 15 point play right there. And TJ Watt gets those a lot. After that would be Roquan Smith. He's about my top linebacker if you take TJ Watt off the board. Roquan Smith just dominates that interior of the linebacker core there in Chicago, and he remains a top option. Just like you, I've got Myles Garrett.
Hey, I got one.
Yeah, he is an amazing defensive end as long as he keeps his hands to himself and doesn't go crazy on an opposing quarterback. I like him, and constantly at the top of the defensive end rankings. Micah Parsons as well. He's I think I'm a little like you have him at 3, I have him at 4.
You telling me I got another one? Sweet.
Yeah, with the that rushing edge rushing potential there. He came out his rookie year and really kind of he made a name for himself.
Yeah,
Like
it
that
was
one.
exciting to watch him play for sure.
Yeah. And then the last one is Darius Leonard. He is also another super top option. When he came out his rookie year, he blew away previous number 1 linebacker scoring for IDP. It was like his tackle numbers and what he was doing on the field. Those previous like Bobby Wagner's and I'm trying to think. If you go back to like Luke Kuechly, Paul Lesney, these guys that always kind of remain at the top of the tackle numbers. He came in, Darius Leonard, and he just set a new bar. So he remains up top. I think he's dealing with a little bit of an injury this year, which is going to keep him out of the off season for the most part. But I very confident in him coming in and just being regular Darius Leonard. A great option for your linebackers.
Yeah, Indy is a good team overall. I hope, I don't want to be biased or anything, but I hope Matt Ryan can push them to the next level. But that division or that conference is just Very, very tough. But hey, I like it, man. So there you guys go for an IDP specialist. That's what we're gonna call you today. You heard it here first. Me, myself, I'm not too far off. So I like it. I like your explanations. I wouldn't have put TJ Watt up there, but I guess it's just because I thought this guy's an old ancient has been by now. I mean, it just seems like he's been playing for so long. Don't look at me like that. I didn't
You're thinking
know.
of the wrong Watt.
Oh my god, this is the Pittsburgh Steelers younger brother
Yeah,
Watt. See,
TJ
there you
Watt's
go.
like a baby.
This is why I don't play IDP. It's a whole side of the field you have to worry about. When you're on the offensive side, you just kind of look at cornerback matchups and maybe you're going to look at the strength of schedule. But holy cow, yeah, you got me thrown all over the place now.
Yeah, I mean, you would look at the, anyone playing the Steelers, your running backs going up against TJ Watt, like your
Exactly.
quarterbacks, like you put, trying to think here of a really, well, you put Jared Goff on the opposite side of TJ Watt, and he's gonna land on his butt a few times. So, um, yeah, he's a force to be reckoned with, whether or not you play IDP.
Fair enough. Let me ask you this. We were talking about quarterbacks a little bit earlier and how like they're the essential piece when you're playing fantasy football. That's like what you build your dynasty teams around, all of that good stuff. When you're playing IDP, is there one position that holds value over the rest? And if so, what is that position? Or are they all just kind of similar in value?
So there,
You got a
it
couple
really
of
comes down to,
linebackers up here at the top, right?
yeah, it comes down to depth. Linebackers, um, linebackers are going to be more your like wide receivers, where you're getting a lot of points, but
Ooh,
there's
I
also a
like
lot
your
of depth.
comparisons.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
Your defensive ends, your edge rushers are going to be more of your quarterbacks, but there's a little bit of a volatility there. Your top defensive ends, edge rushers, are going to have really high ceilings and really high floors. That's your Josh Allen, QB, Patrick Mahomes type archetypes, and then they fall into a, you know, not as good. The kind of will win you a week or will kind of not put up the numbers that you want to see. Your Jameis Winston's, and so that's really rises those really good players up to the top, like TJ Watt. That you're going to get a solid tackle floor, and then he's going to sprinkle in at least could be 2 sacks, and then maybe he'll have a 5-sack game. Just
Mhm.
something ridiculous where your TJ Watt will score as much or more than your quarterback on your fantasy team. So it kind of there's if you really want to get into the opportunity costs and all that stuff between the positions, Tom Kislenberry of DLF dives into these numbers like crazy. So if you're that kind of player that's like, oh man, I really want to see like the differences and stuff, like make sure and follow him. But for the most part, there's enough similarity that you can have different strategies as you're drafting. If you're kind of new to IDP, you'll probably want to make sure and shore up your linebackers, because
Mm.
if you don't, so like there's a lot of depth, but you have to kind of stream them. So you have to work the waiver wire, you have to get, okay, what's the good matchup, and piece them in. And you can do that. You can get Roquan Smith numbers out of that position through the waiver wire and just constantly kind of churning that out. But if you don't feel like you could do that, getting a solid piece right there and building around it is important. But my strategy is usually getting either my defensive ends, my edges, so like Miles Garrett, or I'll go defensive back. So if however the draft ends up playing out, say I'm not in a position to get a Miles Garrett or those top guys, I might swap over to the defensive backs and get like a Jeremy Chin, Buda Baker, oh man, the Chargers guy, Derwin James,
Mm.
get one of those guys where it's like, I don't have to worry about that position group. These are, every week starters. And then I go through and I kind of piece together the other positions throughout the draft. And and in free agency in off the waiver wire.
So it's kind of like a tiered system then, right? I mean, just like you would see in your offensive rankings, you kind of have defensive rankings, and within those rankings, there are, positional values and whatnot. So that was a
Yeah.
really good description.